All right. Now our next book is after the people have gone and they're in the wilderness. See, they had to pack up, and how did they get away? All right, let's start this one. And it starts on page 4-2. Okay, 4. After the last of the plagues which God had sent to the Egyptians, Pharaoh told the children of Israel to leave Egypt as soon as they could. They took jewels of gold and silver from the Egyptians. "Go quickly," the Egyptians said, "or we shall all be dead men." And the Israelites left at once. They took their bread dough with them without waiting for it to rise, so it was unleavened bread. By day they followed a pillar of cloud, and by night a pillar of fire. After they had left, Pharaoh's heart was hardened again. He sent an army to bring them back to Egypt after they'd gotten all packed up and everything ready and carrying all their bundles. He said, "You gotta come back." Can you believe that? Okay, let's turn. When the children of Israel saw Pharaoh's chariots pursuing them, they cried, "Were there no graves for us in Egypt? You have led us out to die in the wilderness." But Moses said, "Fear not, keep still, and God will save you." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and God sent a strong east wind to blow all night. In the morning the sea parted, and there was dry land between two walls of water. The children of Israel went safely through. See that dry spot down there? That's where it went clear across, and they went across. Okay, let's turn. See what happens to those other people. Here came the Egyptians, but when the Egyptians followed, Moses stretched out his hand again, and the waters returned and rushed over the Egyptians. Every man was drowned. Looks like the horses were too. Be scary. Okay, let's turn. As they went on through the desert, the people became hungry, and they complained to Moses. "In Egypt we had plenty to eat. Here we shall die of starvation." Moses said, "God has heard you complain. He will give you meat to eat in the evening and bread in the morning." That evening the ground was covered with quails. You see all these little birds? The next morning there was manna scattered all over the camp. And that's over here on the ground. See, look how it snowed in it. They would have to kill the birds and dress them, and then they would have to cook them like chicken or something like that. Turn. As the Israelites journeyed in the wilderness, they found no water. They were very thirsty and then complained again to Moses. God told Moses, "Go and stand before the rock of Horeb and strike it with your rod. Then water will flow, and my people shall drink." Turn. But now the Amalekites, they lived in that country, came to fight the Israelites, and Moses called Joshua the son of Nun to lead the army. "I will stand on that hill with the rod of God in my hand," Moses said. Sometimes one side won, and sometimes the other. Moses found that if he lifted up his hands, the Israelites were victorious. That means they were winning. If his hands fell down, the Amalekites won. He sat on a stone, and Aaron and Hur held up his hands for him until Joshua had won the battle. Turn. After 3 months in the wilderness, the children of Israel came to the desert of Sinai. God called Moses up into the mountain. He said, "If my people obey the third day." On the third day there was thunder and lightning, and a black cloud hung over the mountain. The voice of the trumpet sounded. The people trembled and the mountain quaked, and God said to Moses, "Come up the mountain again, and I will give you my laws." Turn. God gave these commandments for his people. "You shall have no other gods but me. You shall not make idols. You shall worship the Lord, the one God. You shall not swear, nor steal, nor kill each other. You must honor your fathers and mothers. You shall not work on the Sabbath, or that Sunday, the seventh day. You shall not say wrong things about your neighbor, nor try to steal his wife. You shall not envy anything that belongs to a neighbor, his land or his cattle. God wrote these laws on 2 tablets of stone. And you know what? We call those the 10 Commandments. Turn. Moses stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. That's a pretty long time. While he was gone, the people came to Aaron and said, "We don't know where Moses is, or if he will ever come back. Make us a god to lead us." So God made a statue of a calf, all of gold. He said, Here is your God. Worship him." And see, that would be like an idol. And God doesn't want us to worship idols. Okay, let's go on. On the mountain, God said to Moses, "Go down to the people. They are worshiping an idol instead of me. I shall punish them." Moses said, "Lord God, do not be angry with your people. Remember Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and your promises to them." Turn. As Moses went down the mountain, he heard the shouts of the people below, and when he saw the children of Israel dancing around the golden calf and worshiping it, he was very angry, and he threw the 2 stone tablets to the ground, and they broke into pieces. Turn. Moses said to Aaron, "What have the people done to you that you should make them sin in this way?" Aaron said, "Don't be so angry. The people meant no harm. We did not know where you were, so they asked me to make them a new god." That was an excuse, wasn't it? Moses stood at the gate of the camp and said, "Whoever is on God's side, let him come to me here." All the sons of the tribe of Levi came to Moses' side. Moses told them to kill everyone who would not obey God. Many people died. Then Moses pleaded with God to forgive the children of Israel their sin in making the golden calf. Turn. God said to Moses, "Now go on into the wilderness. I will send an angel before you, and I will bring my people into a land flowing with milk and honey." The people watching saw the pillar of cloud and knew that God was speaking to Moses as a friend. Moses asked God, "May I see your face in glory?" God said, "No, that would be too much for you. Stand on a rock and I will pass by, and you will see a part of my glory." And that book, see the cloud there in front of Moses? Turn. God told Moses to make 2 new tablets of stone. He said, "I will write my commandments on them." Early the next morning, Moses went up to the top of Mount Sinai. God told him to lead the children of Israel to live in Canaan. When Moses came down from the Mount Sinai, where he'd been talking with God, the skin of his face shone, so that the people were afraid to come near him. Turn. Now the fine craftsmen of the people began to make the tabernacle ready for the ark. The tabernacle tent had curtains of blue and purple and scarlet linen, embroidered with golden cherubs. Inside the tabernacle tent was a box made of acacia wood to hold the tablets of stone. This was the ark. Aaron and his sons were the priests of the tabernacle. They made a burnt offering on the golden altar, and the glory of the Lord was over the altar. And that's the end of this book. I like these stories, didn't you?